You may have heard about Next.js, and you know TypeScript is a must-have, but starting can feel overwhelming. Where do the files go? What's the difference between a page and a layout? And how do you actually get data on the screen? Don't worry, in this video, we are going to cover everything. We are going to demystify all of it. By the end of the video, you will have a rock solid understanding of Next.js 15 fundamentals, and we will also build a simple app together. My name is Atik, and I am a senior software engineer. And in this channel, I'm helping you to build modern and scalable full stack applications from starting to finish. So, why we choose Next.js over traditional React.js? There are a few reasons. The first thing is that I'm not going to highlight every reason, but two of the most important here. The first thing with vanilla or traditional React.js is manual routing. What does that mean? It means that we have to install additional libraries, for example, React Router DOM for routing, and we have to configure them manually. If we want to enable SSR or client server-side rendering and those things, we can do with vanilla or traditional React.js, but it needs to be configured manually. Another important issue with traditional React.js is its client-side rendering. Everything is bundled in one or more JavaScript files and will be sent to the browser for rendering. The browser has to wait for JavaScript to load, and since the rendering is done on the client side, it's not easy for search engines to crawl the index. Now comes Next.js. So, what are the advantages of Next.js over traditional React.js? I'm highlighting four of the most important advantages of Next.js over vanilla or traditional React.js. The first thing is server-side rendering. In a Next.js application, all the components are server rendered by default, which means browser receive fully rendered HTML from the server. This results in faster initial page loads and improved SEO because search engines can crawl the HTML easily. Another important feature of Next.js is automatic code splitting, which means Next.js automatically split your code into smaller chunks, loading only the necessary JavaScript for each page. This reduces the initial load time and improves overall performance. And another big advantage and feature of Next.js is its built-in image and font optimization. Next.js has built-in optimized components for images and fonts. And one of the very important features of Next.js is its file-based routing system. Next.js provides file-based routing system, which simplify the creation and management of routes compared to traditional React.js that require extra libraries and manual configuration. So the next thing that is really important to us is TypeScript. Why TypeScript matters? TypeScript provides type safety to our components, which is allowing developers to define data types for variables, function parameters, and return values. This enables the TypeScript compiler to catch type-related errors at compile time or during development time rather than at runtime, which leads to fewer bugs in production. Okay, great. So what's next? Let's spin up a new project with the latest everything. We will use the create next app command with the TypeScript template. So let me open my terminal, and here I'm going to do npx create next app, and I'm going to use the latest flag. You can specify a specific version, for example, 5.1 point something, but in this tutorial, I'm using the latest flag. And after this, we can write our project name. For this one, I'm just doing next foundations or next fundamentals. And you can pass extra flags here also. I'm passing dash dash TypeScript and dash dash tailwind and also dash dash ESLint. Notice that I'm using the dash dash tailwind flag because it's the industry standard for rapid styling. And I'm using dash dash TypeScript, which allows us to define types for our variables and function parameters and also return values. And ESLint is here to keep our code clean. So press enter. Okay, now it's asking a few questions. Do we need SRC directory? It's up to you. You can use SRC directory, or for my case, I'm not going to use SRC directory. I prefer app directory. So I think no. Do we need app router? Yes, that's recommended. And TurboPack? No. Do we need to customize import alias? We say no. And now it's creating our project. Okay, now that our project is created, let's cd into our project. Next, fundamentals. And let's straight away run our project. I'm using pnpm, but you can use npm or yarn, whatever you want. pnpm date. And now it's spinning the server. Let's go to localhost 3000. Reload our browser. So this is our Next.js application up and running. So now is the time to go deeper and explore the folder structure of Next.js. Let me open the project in VS Code. I'm opening a new terminal and I'm doing code bar. Okay, so this is our project. This is the app directory. Since Next.js 13, Next.js introduced app directory in Next.js 13 and after that, but before that, it was using pages router. But now forget about everything about pages router because app router is simpler and more powerful. This is the main directory or folder that all the magic will happen here. And apart from that, let's explore a few other files. An important file is next.config. If you come here, you can add your Next.js configuration options here. For example, if you want to fetch images from Unsplash, you can tell Next.js in here that you are fetching images from Unsplash, so Next.js will understand it. Another important file is tsconfig, which is our TypeScript configuration file. For now, you just need to understand that this flag need to be turned on, strict mode equal true. If you make this false, then it doesn't make sense to use TypeScript. It will be equivalent to JavaScript. But for most of the time, we are not going to touch these files unless it's required. And now the important folder is here. So we have a global.css, which includes our tailwind and extra stuff here. Another file is layout. Layout.tsx is wrapping every page in our application. This file is wrapping the entire application, unless if we want to write a custom layout for any route that we want or any page that we want. And another important file is the page.tsx. As you can see, this page and page.tsx and layout.tsx and they are directly under the app directory or app folder. So this is our home page. If we go and visit localhost 3000, this is what we see in the browser. As you can see, this is that page. Okay. Now, every folder that you create under the app directory, and if it has a page.tsx, it will be considered a route. Next.js will think that it's a route, and you can see that in the browser. Let's see that in action. For example, I'm going to create a new folder. I call it dashboard. So, and now if I visit localhost 3000/dashboard, I cannot see anything. But if I create a page.tsx in it, .tsx, the extension can be anything. It can be JS or JS6, but because we're using TypeScript, I'm doing TSX. And now in here, I'm going to write export default function, and then this name doesn't matter, whatever you name. But for now, I name it dashboard page. And just simply return a div h1. And in the h1, we say dashboard page. Great. Now, if we go and visit our localhost 3000/dashboard, because our folder name, remember this one? This is our route name. So let's see that in action. Localhost 3000 and then /dashboard. You can see that now we have our dashboard page. Let's also go and remove whatever we have in our home page. So come here, and then in our home page, we also say div, and then h1 here, and then home page. Home page. Now, this is our dashboard page. You can see it says dashboard page. If we go to home page, it says home page. We can also create nested layouts. What I mean? I mean that inside a folder, you can create another folder, and that will be another route. For example, inside dashboard, I create another folder called users and another page.tsx. And now export default function and users page. Let's just return a simple text. Okay. H1 here also. And then we say users page. Now, if we go to localhost 3000/dashboard/users, check this carefully because users is directly located under dashboard. So it should be /dashboard/users. So now if we go to /dashboard, we see dashboard page. But if we go to /users, we see users page. Okay, now that you understand the routing system here, like every folder that has a page.tsx or jsx or js inside it and is located under the app directory, it will be a route. Okay, another thing is that we have grouping routes or organizational routes. For example, let's say you want you create another folder here and you name it products. And in the products, also you create page.tsx. I copy this one from users and then paste it here, but change it from users page to products page. Products page, and here also products page. Now we should go to /dashboard/products to see this page. What I mean is products. Now we can see products page. But what about if someone says that I don't want to go to /dashboard/products, I just want to go directly to /products? As you can see, it says page not found. Why? Is there a way to solve this? Yes, by using grouping folders or organizational folders. What we can do, we can create another folder, or we can change this dashboard folder to an organizational folder. Let me do that here. I'm coming here, and then I wrap the folder name with curly braces. Now this will turn dashboard to an organizational folder or grouping route folder. Now I can, let's update imports. Now if I go to /products, I can see products page. If I go /users, I can see users page. I don't need to go to /dashboard and then /users. I can directly go to visit /users or /products. That's the power of grouping routes or organizational folders. Okay, now that you understand organizational folders also, let's move to layouts. As I mentioned at the beginning, that layouts wrap the whole pages. Let me demonstrate that for you in here. If I create a div, let me add a class here, class name, height is full device height, and weight is full device weight. And also let's add bg blue bg blue 950, and let's move this up. Okay, now let's save. And now if we go to our layout, any page will have a background blue here. It's very dark blue. The text is not even visible. We can change this to be blue and red. Now, it doesn't matter I go to users page or products page, all of them will have this background. Products, or even the home page. You can see the home page also has this background. But what about if someone says that I want to change and I want to have a separate background for every page that I want to customize? So now it comes the power of nested layouts. Before Next.js version 13 and in the pages router, Next.js was allowing you to only create a single layout file for the entire application. But after that, in the app router, you can create a layout for any folder that you want, or you can create nested layouts. For example, if you want to create an e-commerce application and you have a dashboard page, a products page, an orders page, and probably a blogs page, then you can create a separate layout for your dashboard, a separate layout for your products, and the same for your orders and blogs. Let's see that in action. Now, as you can see, we have two other folders here, which is products and users. Both of them currently use the same layout. But if I want to change, I'm going here and then create a new folder for create a new file in products folder. I name it layout. The name should be layout. And now export default function. And then I just say products layout. And this one takes a children argument. I say children, and children is of type children. Children is of type React dot React node. Okay, great. And now in here, I'm just returning a simple div. And let's add a class to this. Class name, I just say w full inch, full height, and full weight. And let's add bg green. This time we add green. And let's also add children here. Children. Now, every other page will use the default layout.tsx or the global layout.tsx, but our products page is using its own layout. Let's see that in our browser. If you can see that the home page is still having that blue background, but if I go to a products page, now products page has its own background, which means it has its own layout. Let's go and add the same thing for our users page. For example, if we see our users, it's still using the old blue background or the general one, users, as you can see, but we can go and customize it. So what we can do here is, let me copy this, copy, and paste in the user folder. But we change from products to users. And the rest is the same. Let's just change the background color. For users, we just say BG, let's say orange 500. And now if we go and check our users, it has an orange background or an orange layout. So this is about layouts. You understand the folder structure. You understand how the routes are working. You also understand the organizational and grouping folders and nested routes. And also you understand the layouts and nested layouts. Now it's time to go and create our main application. For that, we are going to use this API, which is called dummy.json. If you come down here, it provides you a list of options. For example, you can fetch products. This is not also for fetching. You can also update or create or delete. You can do the same for users, comments, to-dos, images, cards, posts, codes, recipes, and alt. But for this tutorial, I'm going to stick with recipes. As you can see, recipes have these options, but we are not going to take all of these options. We just need the name, ID, and probably, let's see, we also need image. And that should be it for now. So let's go into our VS Code, and in our home page, which is this page, this page, Let's close the other folders, the dashboard, and we can go to our page here. Let me remove this. And here, I'm just saying const response equal await. It's complaining about await because we are in a server component. We can directly say async here. Async. And now we complain about await gone away. We can use await page, and I'm going to grab this URL and paste it here. Okay. Let's also do const data equal response.json. But because this is also promise, we have to await for this. Await response.json. So now, instead of rendering this home page, we can come here and say data.map. But as you can see, we do not have auto completion. And if I say recipe, we will also not have auto completion here also. For example, if I say, let's say h3, oops, let me return, and then here div, and inside div we will have h3, and if I say recipe dot, we don't have auto completion. So how we can solve this? We come here and add an interface. This is the power of TypeScript. Interface recipe props. And now what we need? We need ID, which is a number. We need name, which is a string. And we need image URL, which is a string also. So ID is a number. We say ID should be a number. Name should be a string. And what else? Image should be a string also. We can also have other options here. For example, we can add ingredients, instructions, tags, and everything. Let's say add tags, tag, and I think tags was an array. Yes, it's an array, but array of strings. So we can say string and then array of strings. Or let's see if it has other properties. Now most of them are numbers and string. So we don't have Boolean or something like that. But we can add them here. If we want to add another property, let's say is healthy, we can say Boolean, which can be either true or false. But for now, we don't need them. We can also make our properties optional by putting a question mark here. So now it makes our image optional. When we come here, we have to pass ID and name, but we are free to pass image, or if we don't want, we don't mind. But if we remove this one, now it is a required field. So we have to pass, and we must pass image. Okay, now I come here and say that data is of type recipe props and is an array. So now if I come here and say recipe.name, you can see I have auto-completion. Okay, great. And another one is image, ing, src is recipe dot image. And let's add an alt also to this. Recipe dot name. Okay. Okay, now what we can do, we come here and say const recipes equal data dot recipes, and it will be as recipe props array. Now let's remove this console log, and we have recipes dot map. So let's see our browser now. As you can see, we already rendering the recipes here, but let's add some style to this. Okay, let's go here. In our VS Code, we add a class name, flex, flex wrap, and gap 4. And let's come here and add a class here also. Class name. I'm just doing a fixed weight and height. Actually, I'm not doing fixed weight and height. I just do padding 4, a border, or not border, padding 4 around the LG and shadow LG. And now let's come here. Let's make our name, recipe name, to be a bit bold. Class name, font, semi-bold, and also add a class name here. So class name. Let's add a fixed weight and height here. I just do W, I don't know, 28, and height also, I don't know, 28. Okay, great. Now let's go and see our browser. And you can see we are rendering a list of recipes here. So let's move the name down. Let's do it. Moving the name from here below the image. And also add a gap here. So there is a little bit gap between name and image. And let's make this to be 36 instead of 28. Okay, now it's looking much better. So this is about our project. What we have covered, we have covered the basics of Next.js, Next.js folder structure, and the Next.js nested routes, nested layouts, how the routes work, and server-side data fetching. So what's next? If you really like the video, so this is just the foundation. And in the next videos, we are going to dive deeper into Next.js, advanced Next.js with TypeScript. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and also mention in the comments what will be your first project that you are going to build with Next.js. And also mention in the comments what you want me to teach you in the next video. Thank you. See you in the next video.